Hey everybody, Neo Prepper here. Hey, today we're going to do something kind of cool. I stumbled upon another prepper. Some of you probably know him, crypticCRICKET. crypticCRICKET. I got to tell you, if you haven't gone to this guy's site, he has some really cool stuff on it. Things that I guarantee you haven't thought of. Or maybe you have, but I hadn't. I had given it some thought, but I just loved his approach to it. So today what I'm going to do, I'm going to build his emergency fishing reel, or emergency fishing kit, basically. And we're going to do it using a piece of, this is 1 1/4, I think, 1 1/4 PVC. But it's the thin wall, right? Because we didn't need something real heavy duty. So we're going to the thin wall. Also, I'm going to use the noodle. Right, this is one of those large noodles, but I bought this at Dollar General because it's thinner than most of the noodles out there. Because what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut it in half and lay it out, and what I'm really using it for is just the closed cell foam. Okay, everybody, so we're going to put together our emergency fishing reels now. I'm going to try this a little longer. In fact, I made this a foot long, and for a very good reason. I'm going to put a fillet knife in it. I don't know if you guys have ever tried to clean a fish with a regular knife, but what a pain in the butt. And you'll miss a lot of the meat. It's just a pain in the butt, unless you're just scaling the thing. Fillet knives come in super handy. So I found this one is pretty cheap. It has a floating handle, right? So no matter what, the knife will float. In fact, actually, it looks like this thing pops out, so I can actually put some stuff inside of the handle, which is pretty cool. Maybe a couple of split shots or something like that might keep it from floating, but maybe some extra line or something right in the handle. Alright, so I made mine longer than that. I realize they're not going to be quite as compact. A lot of the guys are, from what I've seen, are making these between 5 and 8 inches. But then again, I haven't seen anybody else put a knife in it except for crypticCRICKET, and he put a folding knife in. So kind of like, one of these, Which, by the way, I just bought this today. I love this knife. This thing is awesome. Flip. I had yet to play with one of these things, but it's a Kershaw, and I just think it's incredible, and it is insanely sharp. So very happy with it. About a 3-inch blade on it. It's just great. So that's going to be my new everyday carry knife, evidently. It's going in my my get home bag, basically. I don't like a lot of stuff in my pockets, but my bag's always with me, so that's where this is going to be. Okay, and then we also, remember the noodle I showed you? I took and cut about a 4-inch piece off of that and split it in half, and took just the end of the pipe and just kind of went like that, and it'll just cut right through that stuff like butter, and of course then it makes a perfect fit for the end of the pipe. So pretty cool. And then I bought this household adhesive sealant, silicone, right? And what I'm going to do is I'm going to use silicone on the inside of the pipe here, and we're going to put that in there. This is closed cell, so it should be waterproof, or at least pretty watertight, right? I noticed some other guys that were using like an inside cap that had a hex thing on the end of it. That's probably great too. I just saw this on crypticCRICKET, and I got to tell you, I actually just like the idea. I think it'll actually help it float a little better too. Because sometimes you drop things in the water when you're fishing, right? So, and then of course the cap that goes on the other end. And I'm not sure what I'm going to do with this yet. I may yet drill a hole on the end of this to put a lanyard on. Piece of paracord, and then RTV, seal it, the silicone on the inside, and at least that'll keep it somewhat waterproof. I wouldn't want to guarantee that it would be waterproof, but I'd have to, seal it here and seal it on the outside, and then pray. Right? And like I told you, I'm using the thin-walled PVC, whatever this is, 160 psi. SDR 26, whatever, doesn't matter. You can use the Schedule 40, you can use this. I just figured I'd keep it light. It's pretty crush proof as it is, and I don't need the extra weight of that Schedule 40. So I'm going to start putting this together, and then I'll show you kind of a half completed project and then a completed project. Okay, we're back. Now what I did, I glued those in with that silicone, and I actually put a thin layer of silicone over the whole thing on the back side here too. I would recommend using gloves for that. All right, the nitrile gloves work really good for that. And I did that with all four of these. Oh, and then we're making a mess. All right, so it's still wet, so I'm not going to put everything in there yet. But you can see it's closed off down at the bottom. You might even be able to see the silicone that's kind of making a ring down at the bottom. So that should actually seal up pretty watertight. Pretty happy about that. Now what I'm going to put in here, and I still have a couple more things to get. First of all, of course, you want some split shots or some weights, right? I'm not even sure what size these are, but they're decent sized split shots. Probably close to 1/8 ounce, maybe 1/4, I'm not sure. They're size number 5, and they're ultra 10, so I'm being environmentally smart. I also bought some weighted bobbers. Okay, that means the bobber is going to float upright like this because the weight's at the bottom. Right. I'm going to put one of these in each one of those, as well as just a standard slip-on bobber. That way I've got 2 bobbers. I'll have probably 4 split shots in there. And then I bought some saltwater premium snelled fish hooks. And I bought 2 different sizes. Oh no, I didn't. I bought the same size. Well, I have to take one back. I thought I bought a 1. Anyway, the thing is with saltwater fish, which is, down here in Florida, you can use a decent sized hook and still catch a small fish. The problem is, of course, in freshwater, you need to use a smaller hook. You can catch bigger fish with small hook, but you can't catch small fish with bigger hooks. So this is a 1/0 hook. It really should work for just about anything. I can catch bass or crappie or specks, whatever you want to call them. Probably even bluegill with this size hook. But I'd like to have a smaller set so that I have 2 of this and 2 of the smaller hooks in each one of these kits. So I've got 4 hooks just in case they break off. I'm going to put them inside of these little snack bags, right? Put my bobbers and everything inside of there. Why? I don't know. Mostly it's so these snelled hooks just don't go all over inside of the thing. So it'll contain those line here, so it just doesn't get all tangled up. So, but I'm going to go ahead and put everything else in there too. And then I'm going to actually, I know like at Walmart or wherever you want to shop, you can also get the baits that I mean, they may eventually go bad, but they don't go bad. And that would be a really good idea to have something that smells or tastes good to a fish. So I'm probably going to get some of those and put in, again, probably one of these small bags and put in there maybe just 2 or 3 of them. Remember, you can always catch grasshoppers, crickets, dig up a worm, a grub, almost anything and catch fish with it. Live bait is going to be your best option when you're survival fishing. I didn't put any lures in here because, quite simply, you're not going to be able to use these guys like you would a fishing pole and jig them and reel them in fast enough that the thing dives. I mean, it's just ridiculous to think that you're going to use a lure in one of these unless you're just going to bob it up and down like this, like a jig, hanging over the edge or something. So I just prefer to make it simple. Live bait, bobbers, hooks, weights, everything will be in there. I'm even going to take some extra line. What I actually did on here, I'm not sure how much line that actually is, but I measured it out to a tree on the back side of the lot here. So I would say there's probably, I don't know, 60 or 70 feet, maybe even 80 feet of line here. Yeah, it's probably about 80 feet of line. You always want about twice as much line on a reel as what you can cast or more, right? So that way, if you catch something a little bigger, you can play them a little bit. Also, since this is about survival, I'm not trying to be sporting or give the fish a chance, so I'm using 30-pound test line, right? Most fish that you would get inshore or in a creek or a river are never going to be able to break 30-pound test line unless it's a huge catfish or some ocean-going fish that has teeth, which is one of the reasons that I'm using the. I realize they're still, mono leaders, but they're heavy duty, and they take a little more abrasion from teeth and that sort of thing. I might even. I've been playing with this. Is go get the cable snelled hooks already set up on a braided wire leader, because I live in Florida, right? And things have teeth, and what has teeth will cut your line if you're not careful. So, and since I don't have a pole to play him with, at least in this scenario, again, I'm not giving the fish a fighting chance. I want to eat him. It's between me and him, and I'm going to win. So let me show you the rest of what I'm doing. What I'm going to do, like I said, I'm going to put my fillet knife in there. All right, it's going to go in butt first. Okay, and the reason why is because it's very narrow up here, and it's going to give me a lot of room to store stuff in here. And like I said, with a fillet knife, it's a hell of a lot easier to clean a fish. You can use a regular knife, that's fine. Obviously, you're still going to be able to eat. You're going to scale him out, split him, gut him, put him on a stick, and hang him over a fire. Perfect. Fillet knives will do that too. But if you've got kids with you, people who don't like to eat around bones, blah, 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 I realize it's a survival situation, but a fish bone in the throat can kill you. So, and I'm really good at filleting fish, so I'm going to put a fillet knife in mine. Again, we got redundancy with knives, and you can do whatever you want. Okay, pretty much the finished product. It's still wet, so I don't have anything inside of it, but you can see the cap goes on the end, right? Got, I don't know, 80 to 100 feet of line here. I don't have any idea how far out that tree is, but it's a pretty good distance. Plenty of line, 30-pound test. I'm actually going to use an inner tube like crypticCRICKET did. Cut myself a Ranger band and put on here. They last a lot longer than these latex rubber bands, but for right now that's good enough to hold the line on there. When I tied the line on, I made 2 or 3 loops of line and then tied an improved, I think they're called an improved cinch knot. I used to call them a trilene knot, but anyway, excellent way of tying fishing line. It should hold on there no problems. How I've always done my reels. And then I made these little kits. I put 2 bobbers, 2 of the standard floating slip-on bobbers, and 1 weighted one, 2 of those 1/0 hooks in there, and 4 split shots. Now I'm still going to add to this because I want to put at least a couple of smaller hooks in there, and I like them already on the leader. I may even put one that's just slightly bigger, or maybe the same size as these, on a wire leader, all right? Because again, saltwater fish, teeth. Right, they tend to tear things apart. Let's see. The fillet knife is going to go inside. I'm also going to measure out another however much line that is and wind it up and put it either in the inside of this fillet knife, right? I think it'll actually fit if I wind it tight enough. If not, I'm just going to put it inside of here, rubber band it all together so it's about, I don't know, yay long, right? 2, 3, 4 inches long, and just tuck it down in there. Realizing this is really for just a 3-day bug out bag, but you know what? Something big is the first thing that hits this thing and strips all your line off and breaks it. Now you're just screwed. So I'm going to put some extra line in there. I just think it's a good idea. I think that's it. Pretty simple project. So that's it. Neo Prepper out. God bless you, and God bless the USA.